पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः, which means that Paramatma is infinite. This Jivatma is infinite. From that Paramatma, this Jivatma is born. By negating the Atma attributes, the Anatma attribute ceases to exist. Namaskaram everyone. Welcome to Vedic Treasure. This is Shritika Manoj. If you are new to the channel, please check the links of the previous episodes in the description box. Let's begin this episode with a Sanskrit verse. Brahma satyam, jagat mithya, jivo brahmaiva naparah, which means the Brahman is only the real. The jagat or the world is unreal, and the jiva is non-different from the Brahman. In the verse, it is mentioned that world is mithya. What is mithya? Mithya, that which is neither true nor false, because we can clearly see and perceive it. But whereas Adi Shankaracharya says that the world is neither true, because it is constantly changing, and whatever it has to offer is temporary, transient and impermanent. Let's take the simple example of the sunrise and the sun setting. We all see it rising and setting. But is it true? We all are aware about the science behind it. In reality, the earth is moving towards and away from the sun. So you can see what we see and perceive is actually not true. So that is why we need to reorient ourselves and transform and transcend from mithya to satya, from that which appears real to that which is real. Now let's scroll back to our previous episodes and see from where we started. We started with a search, which led to self. That self we divided into Anatma and Atma elements. Anatma had three concepts: Shariratrayam, Panchakosha and Avastatrayam. And then finally we reached Atman, or consciousness, that who observes the Anatma. So the fact is, if the Atma component is negated or removed, the Anatma components cease to exist. And in Vedanta, that which has a dependent existence is mithya, and that which is independent is satya. So here we understand that Anatma is mithya and Atma is satyam. Now let's look at this powerful picture of Sri Dakshinamurti and observe that he always keeps his right leg over something, which is called apasmara. Apasmara is a dwarf who represents someone with spiritual ignorance and nonsensical speech. This picture shows exactly how we need to keep a check on the Anatma entities. Now let's talk about Atma, the consciousness, or the Sakshi, the observer, witness. So Sakshi or witness refers to the pure awareness that witnesses the world but doesn't get affected or involved in it. Let's move to the features of Atman. The number one, It is not a part, product, or property of the body. It is an independent principle which pervades and enlivens the body. It survives even after the death of the body. It is not accessible to anyone, hence it needs a medium to manifest. And the last but most important, it is non-dual. There is nothing like consciousness. What is the nature of Atman? They say it is Sat, Chit, Ananda. And together, or a short form, is Satchidananda, which means Sat, meaning absolute non-changing truth. Hence, it is the reality. Chit, meaning pure consciousness. Ananda, infinite bliss. The greatest wealth is viveka, or discrimination. It is the ability to discriminate between the Anatma and the Atma. Mistaking Anatma to Atma is due to ignorance or ajnana. So the basic difference between Anatma and Atma is Anatma is finite, always changing, and Atma is infinite, unchanging. Anatma is samsari or worldly. The world transacts with the Anatma element. The Atma element is asamsari, not of the world. Anatma is the karta bhokta and Atma is akarta abhokta. Thus, in a nutshell, we can say that Atma is not what you experience. Atma is the experiencer. And Atma doesn't have any attributes. It's nirguna. Time to reveal today's secret, which is also a Mahavakya from Chandogya Upanishad and the message from Gita. That is Tat Tvam Asi, which means essentially your nature is divine. This is the whole essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Finally, we have reached the stepping stone of Bhagavad Gita. If our nature is divine, why don't we feel so? Or why doesn't it manifest to us? This is what our holy Bhagavad Gita brings to us in a very systematic pattern, that at the end of the chapter we realize this statement very profoundly. The commentators of the Bhagavad Gita have divided the 18 chapters into 3 groups of 6. That is chapter 1 to 6, 7 to 12 and 13 to 18. The first group is called the Prathama Shatkam. Shatkam meaning 6. Second one, Madhyama Shatkam. Third, Antima Shatkam. Prathama Shatkam, or that which describes the Tvam in Sanskrit, which means you, the nature of the Jivatma, is described in the first 6 chapters. Madhyama Shatkam describes the Tat, the nature of the divine. And Antima Shatkam, Asi, which equates these two natures. And finally, we realize that the essential nature is divine. So let's begin this journey of exploring the Bhagavad Gita in the new year 2021. Hoping and wishing you all a very happy new year. Thank you and signing out for now.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।